Let's start on the back of the board itself. So you do have a power button right here, and then located right next to it is going to be your USB-C charging port. That's right, a charging port. This isn't a power port, this is actually a charger port because this board is an on-the-go board. You can use this on the go. You can podcast with it, take it to your buddy's house, do a stream with it, whatever you want to do. You don't need the cable because you get 7 hours of battery time off one charge, and it takes about 2.5 hours to charge it. All right, so let's start with the very top up here. This is your indicator. If you have your charging cable in, this will be turning red and stuff, showing it's charging. And each little green dot is indicating a 25%. I have 4 green dots, which means I have 100. If I lose one, I'll be at 75%. The next port on here is going to be the USB-C port. Now this is an in and out port. You can hook this up to your PC or your cell phone, whatever the case may be. I absolutely love this port, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more later. You do have a stream out port, which is the next port on here. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys. Yourself here. So I was about to tell you that the stream out port don't work right, but it was totally a user error. I actually figured it out while editing the video. So the stream out port, just to make it simple, is it's an output. You can just plug in something from it, and anything that you talk and send to the board itself can go out of that port into your cell phone for recording and things like that. So simple as that. So hopefully I can be able to hook it up to an Xbox is what it sounds like to me, which that video will be coming soon if it does work. See you guys. And then you have your headphone jack. Now this is where I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now, just for transparency, MAONO did send this board out to me to review, but I've been going back and forth with them for a little while now because I have an issue with this port. It's not a huge issue, right? What it is there's like an interference with the port itself. So if I'm sitting there with my headset on and not playing music and I'm not talking or anything, I can hear a low frequency or a high pitch frequency just interference coming through the board sometimes. It's not constant. It's sometimes when I touch one of the monitor fader up front right here, I get it as well, but it is there, and it is noticeable. Now, I thought it was this board, but I did do some more research. I mean, it's evidently more common than I thought. I talked to a few friends. They told me that they have the same thing, not the same board, but they have different brands boards that have like that actual low end frequency interference style thing coming through their monitoring port, their headphone port. It does, you know, once they told me that, it really made me feel a lot better about it, because I was just like, okay, so this is a common thing, just these style boards for some reason. And I know what it is. It's a grounding issue, because I was able to take a ground loop isolator and plug it in and then plug my headphones into it. Everything went away. It's perfect. There's no interference. There's no sound coming through there at all. Crisp, clear sound. Now, per MaOno, they told me they were working on it, so I'm gonna take them at their word. But in any case, the interference, the sound there doesn't scare me away from the board, because it is a very, very low end thing. When I'm wearing my headphones and stuff, I have music, or I'm talking, or I'm doing something through there productivity wise anyways, to where I don't really notice it. The aux port, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's an aux in. You can input, you can hook up your phone, you can hook up your PC, anything that takes a 3.5 millimeter cable, you could hook up and have an aux port going into it. And then you have your XLR port right here in the back is for your mic. The very first thing I want to point out is a con. I'm just going to be 100% with you guys. This board gets fingerprints all over it. I can't keep my fingerprints off of it. You see all the fingerprints? That's just from me moving it over here to do the video. I think the board looks fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I am a big proponent of gloss. I like it. I think it looks really professional. I think it looks very slick, but the problem is fingerprints. And when you're touching a board, this is what this is for. It's to touch and to use and to, you know, hit buttons and sliders and stuff. You're going to put fingerprints on here. It's a little con, you know, it doesn't take me away from not buying it again, but I want to throw it in there. Now, I do want to mention that MaOno did send out their PD100 mic. This is one of their mics that I like the way it looks. It looks very, that metal body and everything with it. It does come with a desk stand and an extender for the desk stand too, so you can make it a little bit taller, and you want to, you know, talk down into it like I'm doing right here, and the capsule's up top. It's a good mic. I like it. I'm not going to do any kind of audio adjustment to this video from here on out, just so you can hear a raw of the mic itself and what it sounds like and stuff. One thing on this board itself that is amazing for the price is you have two different knobs for your mic itself. You have your gain, which is right here, and then you have your fader, which is what you're putting into the PC itself right here. The max gain on this board can go up to 60 dB. And while you turn it up and down, as you can see, I got it where it's at now, and you can actually see it moving up a little bit. They have it like that to where you can see you talk and stuff. But if you turn it up here, it shows you where you are from here. The next one here is your USB stream out. Now, I would assume that this would not control the mic, but it does. So you have three kind of controls over your volume, including your audio for music or whatever else you're playing through the board. It's not a bad thing, I just kind of weird. What the board doesn't have, which I really wish it had, is a mute button for the mic itself. It doesn't have that. There's, you could turn it all the way down. You got three knobs to do that with, or two knobs and a slider to do that with. But the next thing is your headphone port itself. And this it controls your headphone on the back of the board. So that is that simple. All right, let's move over here to phantom power. Yes, this board does have phantom power. All right, so the very next thing is Bluetooth. So what I'm gonna do to show you Bluetooth is I'm gonna connect it to my phone. To get Bluetooth to come on, you would totally just hold the button. It will turn blue. It will say pairing in your headphones, which is another cool thing we'll get here in a second. And then you just look it up on your phone itself. Mine says right here, MaonoCaster AMC2 NEO. It'll say Bluetooth connected. And then all I have to do is we'll do Amazon Music. And we will go to something we can play. Stream Beats, I know I'm allowed to play. Okay, so you can see it's working pretty simply. It's on already. Now the control is, you can control it with your aux right here. And now it does have a really hard cutoff. So you see how where the green knob is, and I move it, you don't hear it. I move it, you don't hear it. And then it's on. So that is very, very, very strong, okay? Now to also control this, you can control it from here. I still hear it myself. I was talking like you guys can hear me and I had it all the way down, which is why I said this is weird for the mic. Now, I am able to still hear the music coming into the headphones because this does not control the headphone port itself. This only controls the out, anything going to the PC or to your phone or wherever else you're streaming or podcasting to. All right. Now, you can control your volume from your phone too if you want to. You can turn it down like that. All right, so while we're using Bluetooth, I want to go ahead and show you what sidechain does itself. If I turn sidechain on, it will tell me it's on. When I go to talk into the mic, it automatically turns the volume down of the music. I can turn this wide open if I want to, and it's not going to overpower me, well, unless I turn everything wide open. But if I have it down, it automatically, what we call in the industry, auto ducking. Now this is super, super good because when you're doing a podcast or something, or you're doing a video, or you're streaming either, and you want to have music in the background, but you want to, when you start talking or something, it quiet on its own, then you turn this on and it literally does it for you. And it does a really good job at it, I feel like too, because I've been talking this whole time, and if I were just to stop talking. So I absolutely love that about this board itself. For $60, may I add, if you hold this button down, it'll turn pink and it'll say music only. When it says music only, what it does is it goes into it kind of like cuts out the frequency or the EQing of where the voice is, which is normally around the 1,000 hertz range. And it kind of like dips down in the EQ a little bit there to kind of take away the vocals a little bit. That way, if you want to karaoke on this thing, or you want to just have more of an instrumental playing in the background, not a whole lot of vocals going on, but you can't find an instrumental to the song, you can kind of do that. You hold it again to turn it off, and then you can just press it to turn sidechain off. Let's move back here to the reverb preset real quick. Reverb preset is going to have different sounds that you will be able to do and stuff. And when you press it, it'll actually tell you what you're in. So I'm in hall right now. So while I'm talking, you should hear like a hall style talk coming through. Valley, and no valley too low. That's what you should hear right now. I'm in a valley. I don't know what it sounds like because I got my monitoring off. Room, I'm in a room, so it's gonna probably be a little echoey and stuff. And then original. Now, what I don't like about this is if I turn it on, and I want it on, it's on karaoke now, by the way, and I want to turn it off, I can't just like hold it or anything like that. It doesn't do anything. I have to actually go through all the presets to get to it back to original. It's not a big deal, but you know, if I want to use one that's at the beginning and then I have to, while I'm streaming, right? Like if I'm streaming and I'm trying to be quick and everything, it's going to slow you down a little bit. So just keep that in mind. But moving on to direct monitoring, which is right here. You press it, you have a direct monitoring. Now, I'm going to turn it off. And the reason why is I don't really like direct monitoring, and it's not 100% delay, zero latency. It's super, 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 super close, but it's not 100%. And I don't like direct monitoring as it is. So I turn it off, but just keep that in mind. Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's zero to me anyways. If it's supposed to be zero, it doesn't sound like it's zero to me. So we're going to put that on. So let's talk about the loop back feature on this board for a second. And this is where this board gets super interesting to me. I absolutely love it. So I podcast, I do a, shameless plug here, but for good purposes. I don't normally do this. I have a bariatric, because I had bariatric surgery. For you guys that have been around the channel for a long time, know I've lost 200 pounds, over 200 pounds now. Had a bariatric surgery, been doing very good. If you want to see that, go check me out, the Gastric Life Podcast, or you can check me out on Facebook. Just look me up, James Pugh. Put a link below or something like that. But when I'm podcasting, I like to listen to music, but you all know that as streamers, we can't just listen to popular music. I like to listen to popular music when I'm podcasting. With loop back off, what happens is I have the USB-C. I can send music from the PC to the board to come through my headphones, and I don't have to worry about it going back to my stream. Do you see what I'm saying? Which means I can listen to any music I want at the same time of having the music that I want the stream to have playing through the board going back to stream and not have to worry about getting in trouble anywhere. This is a super awesome feature. I actually used this literally earlier today when I played music through here myself. Another feature I love about it is productivity wise, I do a lot of editing and stuff. So when I use this to send my edit through my DaVinci Resolve, whatever I'm using, and I'll actually do my sound and everything through here while also sending music to here at the same time, because I don't like to just hear myself talk for 25 hours. And I have, I have adjustments here and here for aux and headphone jack to know what I'm doing or how I'm sounding, but that feature alone on this board is completely a game changer for me, where I use this board literally every time I turn the PC on now. So the next one on here is going to be pitch presets.
So when you turn it on, you're going to sound like a female. That's the very first one you're going to hear.
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy, so.
So that's what it sounds like. And if I go to the next
one, I sound like a man. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 And
this one sounds like a baby. The only thing that comes to my mind is Brandon from Dark and Cyrus every time I hear this now. Thanks a lot, Brandon. Baby got back. And
this sounds like a robot. Now, I don't know if it really sounds like a robot, but it does sound weird. And it's funny. I actually use these to
troll people, or when I'm playing on Apex or whatever the case may be, I'll use those to kind of mess around and stuff. So do yourself here again for the last time, hopefully. Listen, I totally forgot to mention noise reducer in the video itself. Now, this is honestly just noise cancellation. I don't particularly use it because I just don't like the way it makes me sound. I'm going to give you, there's two options for it. There's a low and there's a high. So I'm going to turn on the low right now. So it's low right now, which is kind of manageable in my personal opinion. What it does is it kind of cuts off really sharp. But when you go high like this, you totally notice a difference in the volume and what the sound like. So me personally, this isn't something I would personally use, but I don't really have a noise background anyway. So I always leave it off. And in post editing and stuff, I can just do a, get rid of all that pretty much myself without sounding like this. But it's there for you guys to use. Back to the video. And then the last but not least is the sound pads. Now these are cool because these are completely customizable. You have to set them up by holding it and deleting it, which it takes like 3 seconds to do. Once it starts blinking and all that, you can hold it again. And once you hold it, any sound that's going into the board will start recording to the preset itself. And once you release it, it will be done. So for example, you can do with your mic, your aux, or your USB coming in. I did do this myself with this, and I don't even remember because I literally set all this up a couple weeks ago when I first got the board. So I was ready to do the review, but I wanted to figure out about the headphone jack, so I waited. So we're gonna figure out together what they are, starting with A.
FBI, open up!
I did that one so you can see how long a recording does.
Got him! Got him!
Anyways. So at the end of the day, is this board actually worth the $60 or not? Which I have an affiliate link for the website itself. I'm not sure if there's a discount associated with that. I have to check, and if it is, I'll make sure I put it beside it, or you can get it off of Amazon. But yeah, 100%. I mean, $60 for this board. You get multiple different ports into the board itself. You can control them with different knobs. You get a gain plus a fader for it, plus you get a sound pad. I mean, you get a lot of stuff for $60. So at the end of the day, yes, I definitely recommend buying this board myself for $60. See you guys in the next video. Peace and love. Honestly, it'd probably be a little bit easier to do it like that, get it where you set, and then you can turn it up from here. That's pretty nice. I like. Anyways, moving on.